Welcome back, everyone. The video clip that you were watching was a little bit of the highlights and photographs from our guest, our wonderful author that has been on in the upper room before. We're so happy to have you back. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
And this time you have a guest with you, so we're going to let you both just introduce yourselves.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm Cheris Fisher, and I am the author of 3 books, Shattered But Not Broken, a season of faith-building devotions, and the newest one, True Love by Any Means Necessary. And here with me is my lovely mother, and I'll let you tell her who she is.
Well, I am the author's mother, and very proud of her. My name is Wendy Singleton, and I'm a pastor and her help.
So let's start from the very beginning, Cherish. How did you start? Tell us about you and where you grew up and things of that nature. Let us know who you are.
Okay. Before that, I promised someone who was here with us the last time, which is my daughter, Destiny Fisher, who's in her first year of college, that I would say hello. So, hello, Destiny.
Hi, Destiny.
Hi, Des.
But I grew up in Delaware, Newcastle, Delaware, and I've lived here all my life. I went to William Penn High School, and I went on to go to Dell State University, Dell Tech. I also went to Widener University and Penn State University. And I became a nurse, and eventually I became a legal consultant nurse, and worked in the hospitals, worked in the school system, worked in the insurance companies, reviewing cases. So I have a wide range background as far as the medical is concerned. I work also in our church, which she said she was a pastor, and she is a pastor of Soldiers for Christ Church, and that's in Claymont, Delaware, and that's where I go. So I do hold an office there. I am a minister there, and I'm also the head of our nursing department that's there. So I'm just grateful to be here once again. I know you wanted me, for those who didn't see me before, to let you know how I got started writing.
Yes.
And what happened was in 2012, I was diagnosed with 2 conditions that were very autoimmune deficiencies and diseases that affected me working as a nurse. So I had to come out of work, and I used to have to get all these treatments done all the time. So I wanted to know what it is that I could do to give back if I couldn't operate as a nurse, the nurse that I was. And the Lord told me, start writing. You want to heal people? You want to help people still? There's different forms of doing that. So why don't you just start by writing? So in between my treatments, in between doctor's appointments, I started writing. And the first book, Shattered But Not Broken, we're celebrating 2 years.
Yeah.
Praise God.
2 years of her being published. And since Shattered has been published, it has served the community in several capacities. Shattered is in 3 of our local libraries, which I plan to have them in many more. It is in the Route 9 Library and Innovation Center, which is our newest library. It's also in Bear Library, and it's also in Claymont Library. And I like to have it in the libraries because I want to give back to my community. I grew up here. I know the issues that are here. And a lot of the issues that Shattered discusses are issues around abuse, people that have been victims of violence, people who have had tragic loss, people who have grew up in a dysfunctional home, and people who have contemplated suicide, or families that have had a loved one who's committed suicide. So it deals with some very real issues. It talks about how, you know, a lot of times people will look at someone who's an addict and think that they want to be that way, not realizing there's a reason how they got that way. And in Shattered's instance, she was trying to numb the problems in her life. And if anybody knows, alcohol and drugs are not going to numb it. It's not going to take it away. It's just going to put a Band-Aid on it, and then you're going to wake up with the same problem. So she had to learn that. But what she had to also learn was, even though she went through all these things, even being a young, unwed teenage mother, even though she went through all these things, she did not allow that to dictate her future. She went on to college. She went on to become a professional. She went on to break trailblazing moments in her life and in her family's life. There was a lot of things that she did that nobody else in her family ever done.
Or in the county where she lived, or
Right,
the city where
exactly.
she lived. Right.
And I'm glad that you brought that out. There was someone who was watching it the last time we were on, and they wanted me to just say a quick message, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
To people who are licensed practical nurses, who are LPNs. And what they wanted me to say was, even though Shattered, when she first started out, she was an LPN, or a licensed practical nurse, as people will call them, it did not stop her from growing leaps and bounds. She was the first LPN to be a school nurse in the Newcastle County, in Delaware. The first LPN. She started out substituting. The nurses that she substituted for liked her so much, they would call and request her. She eventually got asked to be a nurse at a local school that has disabled kids. And she was asked to do this on a permanent basis. So she became the first school nurse that was an LPN. She also became the first LPN to be in charge of a whole facility and become a manager. Even to get her legal nurse consultant, that was unheard of. LPNs just did not do that. They even tried to stop her when she went to graduate, even though she was at the top of her class. But she had a wonderful mother who helped fight for her. And we pulled out all the paperwork and said, hey, this does not say that an LPN, as a matter of fact, your program says LPNs can enter this program. It says nothing about LPNs will not graduate from this program. So she became the first legal nurse consultant, and that I know of still is, that's an LPN. And she also became a manager at a major insurance company, reviewing case files, being a fact witness for the state of Delaware for that particular insurance company. And so she was a trailblazer. She broke through the barriers that society had. And for anyone who's an LPN who feels like you are only a bedside nurse, because that's what she was told when she was being trained as an LPN, that you would only be a bedside nurse, that's not true. You can be whatever you want to be. Just be the best at what you want to be. I know good RNs, I know bad RNs. I know good LPNs, I know bad LPNs. Whatever you are, work it, because it does work.
Yes, it does.
It really does work. So it talks about, even though she came from a dysfunctional background, even though she even did things, she was abused, but she also put herself in a position where she wanted to hurt everybody else. So she became abusive. So we have to watch out that we don't pass those traits to our children, because we can affect our children when we are abusive, when we are addicted to things. She became addicted. There was addiction in her family, a history of addiction. She became addicted to sex. She became addicted to alcohol, because she thought that these were things that were going to take away all the pain and everything that she went through. But through all of that, she did not let that make it her identity. That wasn't who she was. Even though she had a baby before she graduated, she got pregnant, she still graduated and she still went on to college. So you can do it too. You can go to college If you're out there today and you're pregnant and you don't know what you're going to do, I'm going to tell you what you're going to do. You're going to hold your head up and you're going to do it. There's a lot of programs out here who will help single mothers, especially if you're young.
Yeah.
And they see that you really want something, that you really want to become something. There's even daycares that will work with you. You can do it. There's nothing impossible with God.
That's right.
And ultimately, that's what's changed her life. She had to come to a place where she knew God and that God loved her and accepted her, even though she had done horrible things because of what she went through in her life. And so whoever you are out there, be encouraged. Don't let your past dictate your future, but move forward. Move forward.
Now, and there's a strong message you just gave everyone. I know you're going to get a bunch of calls on that.